जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारे यमुना तीरा वनचारे यमुना तीरा वनचारे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Jayo Radha Gokul Nand Radha Gokul Nand Sri Radhe Jaya Radha Gokul Nand Radha Gokul Nand Sri Radhe Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jayo Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jayo Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Gaura Nitai Jayo Gaura Nitai Jaya Gaura Nitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitya Gaura Premanandi Bol Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So we'd like to thank everyone for coming today on a Friday evening to Bhaktivedanta Manor and to our viewers online as well for joining the Bhagavad Gita class that we have this evening. I'll try and attempt to give a class and see what... I'll try and give a class and see how it goes. So we're in chapter 1 this evening, reading from chapter 1. Verse 11.
So those of you who've got any phone, you can go to database or Bhaktivedanta library, Bhagavad Gita, then it's all listed in the text.
I'll read it myself. Okay.
All the books are there, and then all the...
Right. Okay. Right. So we'll say a quick prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Right. Okay, so this way too. So the verse, so when reading from the Bhagavad Gita, as it is by Srila Prabhupada, verse 11. Sorry, verse 1, text 11. So there's 18 verses in the Bhagavad Gita, 700 chapters. 18 chapters, 700 verses. So we've gone through it once already, but for those who are joining us for the first time or maybe listening to it the first time, so we've started again. So Bhagavad Gita took place, it was during the Battle of Kurukshetra. It was when Arjuna was in a dilemma and he came to a point where he didn't know quite what to do. He was on the battlefield and in front of him he could see all his friends, relatives, aunts, not aunts, but uncles and cousins. And he had to make a choice of whether to fight against for what was right or whether he should put his hands up and leave the battlefield. Because ultimately he was a warrior. And the job of a warrior is to fight. And if a warrior doesn't fight, he's considered to be a coward. So in that thought of, the thought process he had was like, okay, I've come on a battlefield to do what's right, but at the same time I'm going to kill off everyone during this battle. And what's the point of me having a kingdom where I have no people to enjoy it with? Because ultimately, if you have something, you want to share it with everyone, isn't it? That's true. So if you have something good, you want to share it with everyone. And here he is thinking that if I have this kingdom and I have none of my cousins with me, none of my elders with me, who will I share it with? So is there really a point in me fighting this battle or not? So rather than fighting, I think I should just give up. And that's the moment when he put down his bow and arrow and said, look, Krishna, I can't fight. And then Krishna turned up and said, well, listen, you need to fight. You're a warrior, otherwise you're just a coward. You know, what's the point of coming to a battle if you're not going to fight? I mean, if somebody puts you up for a fight, you would fight, and then, you know, that's your job. You know, that's what warriors for. Like if you join the army, you know one day that you'll have to go and fight somewhere. So if you join the army saying, I want to join the army, but I don't want to fight anyone, I mean, that's just not on, is it? You will be sent out. So in a similar way, when Arjuna fell silent, he said, I can't, fight my cousins, my nephews and my uncles and my grandfathers. He decided to put his bow and arrow down and lament on the thought of what's going to happen in the future. That's where Krishna steps in and he goes, listen, why are you worried about the future? All these people in front of you, they're already dead. Everyone's performing their duty. Just like you're performing your duty as a warrior, they are also performing their duty. But the thing is, we've all gathered here today to do what is right. Sooner or later, if you don't kill them, something else will kill them. Ultimately, they will die, because that's the whole process of this material world. Everything that you see around us, it takes birth, grows, and then eventually it dwindles, and then it dies. Everybody has to go. Everything what you see, whether it's humans, plants, animals, anything that's living goes through these 4 cycles. So it's irrespective of what you do, they will have to give up their life, whether it's now or whether it's 5 years, 10 years, whenever. So Krishna was saying, why are you lamenting for them? So if you think of it this way, that they're dead anyway, just do your duty and fight. And then now we come to this point where Arjuna is in the middle, and then we see initially it's taking place at Kurukshetra, which is a very holy place. So obviously it's in a holy place, the war's going to take place, you've got thousands and hundreds of soldiers, and now we come to the point where the armies are arranged. Now, it's going to take place between the Kauravas and the Pandavas. So Duryodhana, he was one of the cousins of Arjuna. And now he's got his army on one side and the other army face to face, facing each other. And this is where we come to this verse now. So Duryodhana is praising everyone in his army to show what's happening. So now when we come to this verse, we'll read this verse out. Let me read it here. Yeah, I can't see properly. Ainenishu cha charveshu yatha bhagwan avistitha. Okay. Bhishman eva bharika shantanu bhavanat sarva evihi. So, Aineshu. Okay. Ayeneshu cha sarveshu yatha bhagam avistita bhisham eva bheraka shantanu bhavanata sarva ehiva. So, Ayeneshu is strategic points. Ja also, sarveshu, everywhere. Yatha bhagam, as differently arranged. Avista, situated. Bhishma, unto grandfather Bhishma. Eva, certainly. Abhira ka santu, should give support. Bhavanta, you. Sarva, all. Respectively, Eva, he certainly. Okay. Now all of you must support. Now all of you must give full support to grandfather Bhishma, standing at your respective strategic points in the phalanx of the army. So we'll read the purport on this. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai. Duryodhana, after praising the prowess of Bhishma, further considered that others might think that they had been considered less important. So in this way, in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma was undoubtedly the greatest hero, but even he was an old man, so everyone must think especially of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that the other heroes would not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the phalanx. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of the Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Dev. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya in the battle, because he well knew that they did not even speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in a helpless condition, had appealed for them for justice, while she was being forced to strip naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection for the Pandavas, he hoped that all such affection would now be completely given up by them, as he was customary to the gambling performance. Right. So what we have here, let me just read a quick few prayers before we start. Om Gyanatimirindasya Gyananjalashalakaya Chakshurunmilitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manomistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayan Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagritatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadadutam Parijan Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakavantimischa Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopi Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Taptaka Changaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishvanustate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakal Padarubashai Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnave Bhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasade Gaur Bhaktavrind Ki Jai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So we have come to the point where in this verse, in this particular text, is Duryodhana is trying to please all the people in his army. He's in the previous verses he's praised all the general warriors. Look how good you are. Look how perfectly the whole army has been arranged by me. I've got people in strategic points everywhere. So the main general he had was Bhishma, was the main grandsire of them all. He knew that he was so powerful that nothing can stop him. But at the same time he had Drona, who was also a very well-talented archer. But when you think, what about the rest of the people in the army? It's like, when you have a football team, it's just not the strikers who are there to score the goals. It's the rest of the team, the midfielders, that they help out. So in a similar way, if you don't engage them, that you're all part together, we're here to win this battle. In a similar, like in a football field, everyone has to play their role. So this was what Arjuna was trying to encourage. Duryodhana was trying to encourage all the rest of the army that, look, give your full support to these great hero warriors that we have. They are immense. They're so powerful. They're so strong. But yet, at the same time, they are quite old. So, in one aspect, we can see that Bhishma was one of the oldest persons on the battlefield. And he was always victorious in whatever he was doing. There's no way you could defeat him. He was so valiant, so strong, so powerful. And Bhishma decided to remain a brahmachari. He never got married, so he wasn't really after anything. But one thing he did was to protect. He took the pledge to protect the kingdom until it was possibly fit for a ruler to rule that kingdom, whoever he thought was fit. Bhishma saw so many difficulties. He went through so many ups and downs in the kingdom, and he's been through all that, but he was holding on to the kingdom. And then he also witnessed, like we read in the verse, that disrobing of Draupadi. He was there, but his allegiance was to the kingdom, so to uphold the kingdom. At the same time, he realized what he was doing was wrong, that Duryodhana, his nephew, was doing the wrong thing. But to uphold the kingdom was his main concern. He said, no, I have kept my word. On those matter of principle, I'm sticking to what I'm doing. It's like when you have kids, he goes, they're children in gambling match. If you have children playing games and have disagreement with each other, he goes, that's for them to sort out. I don't need to help them out. But there comes a point when something's happening where the adult has to step in. And this is where Bhishma Dev, as the elder, didn't actually step in. And so Duryodhana is saying, Bhishma is quite old. He's looked after the kingdom for so many, many years. And now he's quite old, even though he's so powerful. Age is sometimes not on your side. So Duryodhana is encouraging the young people in the army, like, just as a child would look after his elderly parents, it's our duty to look after Bhishma, because he's not as agile and fit as he was before, because he might be attacked from all sides. So we need to protect him from all sides from attack. And obviously there were many valiant, superb fighters on Arjuna's side as well. Like Bhim, Arjuna was there. And then Yudhishthira was there. And of course Lord Krishna was there as well. But Krishna, as we know, decided not to pick up any weapons during this fight. But Duryodhana primarily betted everything on Bhishma. He knew that because Bhishma's on our part, on our side, victory will more or less depend on him fighting everyone, because he could literally fight off everyone single-handedly if he wanted to. And then Duryodhana realized that Bhishma will be on my side, and he's been through thick and thin, so he's always been on my side, never actually left me, and he's always there protecting me, just looking at. So he was looking after the kingdom, but Duryodhana thought he was always on my side, but ulterior motive for Bhishma was to look after the kingdom. And Bhishma was in a catch-22 situation where he's said, yes, I am protecting the kingdom, pledging to protect the kingdom and find the correct ruler. But at the same time, he knew who Lord Krishna was. And now he knew he's coming into battle, and who is he actually facing? He goes, there's no way I can win Lord Krishna. He's the ultimate supreme personality of Godhead. But as a duty, as a warrior, he still has to fight. But there's only one good thing that Bhishma had, which is his boon, that he could give up his life at any time he wanted, at any moment. That was what made him immortal. And this is what actually drove Duryodhana for the protection of Bhishma from all sides, so they could protect him. Because even though Bhishma was not able to be killed by anyone, he could choose the right moment. But when you go and read go back a little bit about Bhishma. Now, what was Bhishma? He was a Gangaputra. Right? And Bhishma was so powerful, he took the vow of being a celibate, not getting married, remaining brahmachari. And all the celestial gods, they praised him, for no one had actually ever taken a vow such as him. And they said to him, you are going to be immortal. You can choose the time and place of when you want to die. It's up to you. Now, being so strong and valiant, nobody could actually defeat him. And one day, one of his stepbrothers, Vichitravir, wanted to get married. And as it happens, there was a swayamvara taking place. The king of Kashya, King Kashi, he had 3 daughters. And he went to the swayamvara, and rather than say, look, I'm here on behalf of my stepbrother Vichitravira, he's looking for a partner, a suitable partner. He just decided to pick up all 3. He had 3 daughters. King Kashi had 3 daughters: Amba, Ambalika, and Ambika. So he decided to take all 3 away. He just put them in his chariot and drove off with them. And prior to that, there was a lot of struggle. It's not like just pick them up and put them in a chariot and walk off. There was a bit of fighting in between that as well. So fighting took place. And as it happened, when he got to his place, Amba revealed that she had actually was in love with King Salva, and that she'd actually had chosen him as her husband. Bhishma said, if that's the case, then so I should actually take you back to your kingdom, to King Kashya, because you're his daughter. So if you had someone in mind, you should have said, but obviously you didn't, and hesitantly I took you. So he took her back, and when he took her back, King Salva rejected her. He says, well, you've gone with another man. I refuse to accept you. Why should I accept you now? You've gone with another man. So he's taken you full force. We had a fight. He's won a fight. He is a warrior. He's a Kshatriya. So as a duty, as a warrior, he's won that. He can take you. So he should accept you and take you. So obviously Bhishma wasn't going to accept her as a wife because he's about to be a celibate. So for the revenge of that situation, Amba was born in the next life as a man. For this reason is why they needed protection for Bhishma, because Bhishma would not pick up arms against women. He took a vow not to fight against women. And then, as it happens, because he decided not to pick up arms against women, he was being very vulnerable, because on the other side, there were so many warriors there who would kill him. And then another point is when Arjuna and, it's not you're going to have a battle, but you can actually choose who you want to be on your side. So Krishna was the mediator so many times between all this. So Arjuna and Duryodhana decided to go to Krishna's place and to ask him for help and see what he could do. When they got to his place, Krishna was obviously sleeping at the time, and Duryodhana arrived there a little bit early, and he was so full of pride. He goes, you know what, I have got early, and I will wait here for Krishna to wake up, and he'll see me first, And as it happens, Krishna was fast asleep. Duryodhana was at the head of Krishna, and Arjuna was at the feet of Krishna. And normally when you're sleeping, when you're sleeping, the first thing when you wake up, you look in front of you, see who's there and who's the first, what you can see there. So in a similar way, when Lord Krishna woke up, the first thing he saw was Arjuna standing by his feet. And then he asked, and then he saw Duryodhana, and he asked them, why are you guys here? What do you guys want? And they both said that we need help from you. We need help, Krishna, we need help from you for this war. He goes, okay, that's true. So what I'll do, as I saw Arjuna first, I'll ask him, what does he want what does he want from me? In what way can I help him? And then they would say, well, no, I was here before him, and I've been standing by your head, so you should ask me first. He goes, well, as a matter of principle, like Arjuna is younger than you, so being a younger person, I should ask him first, So he said, I'll give you a choice. There's two choices you can have. You can have me alone by myself, or you can have my army. So what would you like? Krishna also said, I won't arm myself and I won't have any involvement in the battle. So what do you want? And Arjuna said, Krishna, I'll have you on my side. And Duryodhana thought, wow, what a crazy fool he is. He's just taking Krishna, but I can get his whole army of so many thousands and millions of men. He goes, do you know what? I'll just take all the army of you, what's one person against, so say 20, 30,000, what's one man going to do? Nothing. So in that context, he says quantity is better than quality. And then Arjuna said, what should I do with the army? The best thing is to have the Lord. Because when the Lord's on my side, it's everything will be possible. So the small message that comes from here is that you can have everything you want, but if you don't have Krishna on your side, with Krishna on your side, even the most impossible thing is possible. And yet when Krishna is not on your side, all your efforts will go in vain. then also on the battlefield, Arjuna found it difficult to shoot the arrows to Bhishma Dev, because he was thinking, that's my grandfather, I don't really want to fight him. I can't shoot the arrows. And Lord Krishna wanted to say to him, kill Bhishma. Don't just keep saying, praising you, oh, you're my grandfather, you're grandfather. It came to a point where Lord Krishna actually got off the chariot, held up his Sudarshan Chakra, and was ready to kill Bhishma. And then Arjuna said, but Krishna, you can't do that. You kept your promise that you won't fight in this battle. You can't break your promise. But there comes a point when the master or the guru or this, he will actually have to step down and reprimand you and show you in a direct way that when you have to do something, you have to do it. And this is the point that Krishna was trying to make to Arjuna, that you're on the battlefield, your job is to fight. Don't look at him like he's your grandfather. If you need to fight, you need to kill him. You have to do that, otherwise I'm going to do that for you. So it's like a stern warning to him. And then Arjuna, then ultimately, he didn't know what to do. He obviously, the only thing that he could do was fight. Now Arjuna, standing there in the midst of the army, and Bhishma there, all the soldiers on the Duryodhana side are being encouraged to fight, protect. It's because the vulnerability is there for everyone. When you think of ourselves, we're always constantly vulnerable. We are trapped in this world of Maya, and we are constantly fighting our own battles. We're having to understand what's right and what's wrong. We're always fighting ourselves with what's right and what's wrong. And the thing we see here in Duryodhana, he's very egoistic. He's very full of himself. He knows I've got the best of everything. I've got the best fighters on my side. I've got the most number of fighters on my side. I have to win this battle. I will win this battle. But the verse comes to my mind is na mam duskrito no muda prapadayante naradama mayaya apritagana ashuram bhavu ashrita. Those miscreants who are foolish, grossly foolish, who are lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and whose partake of the aesthetic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Now when you think of that verse, Krishna went to Duryodhana so many times. He's saying, look, we don't really need to get into this battle. Just give the Pandavas 5 pieces of land. If you can't give 5 pieces, just give them 5 villages and we call it quits. But no, Duryodhana was full of ego, power. He was an enemy of what you could think like someone who's got all the money, who wants to control everything, and he's very like what we call a control freak. He said, no, I won't even give him a piece of land which is the size of a pinhead. Why should I? It's mine, all mine. It all belongs to me. I don't want to give him nothing. And yet when Lord Krishna went to him, he said, look, the end result won't be good. If I were you, I would just give the 5 little villages and call it quits. But no. Sometimes you find people who are so engrossed in their work, they don't think above that everything here is temporary, everything will remain the same. Nothing actually goes with you, nothing stays with you. Everything is just, temporary. Everything you see around us is temporary. Even whatever you have, house, cars, everything is temporary and it doesn't stay forever. But the only thing that stays with us forever is the Lord's holy name. And now Arjuna Duryodhana was looking at Arjuna, so Duryodhana was looking at Krishna as like an enemy. And whereas Arjuna was looking at Krishna, I'm here to serve him. He's looking at it like a brother to him. He's serving like the brother or a friend, a good friend. You know, you look up to a good friend who can guide you from right to wrong, and that's the way Arjuna looked at him. And initially, Arjuna didn't know who Krishna was, how powerful he is, what he was doing. He just saw him as one of his cousins, had a laugh and a joke. And then there came a point when Krishna did reveal himself to me, then he says, oh wow, okay, so that's who you are. That's when it struck his mind, the power of Krishna and how powerful Krishna actually is. That's when he decided to say, Krishna, you guide me, you become my guru, you help me. I am not capable of fighting or understanding. My mind is disturbed, and help me. It's quite often what we find in ourselves is when we're disturbed, when we have so many things agitating our mind, we need someone to talk to, someone who can guide us, even if it's like putting our mind at ease. Sometimes our mind is so frustrated. You know, you come to a point where the agitation in the mind leads you to do some things which are not feasible, which you shouldn't be actually doing. And that's when you need to talk to someone. And that's exactly what happened with Arjuna on the battlefield. All hope, all composure lost, asking Krishna for help. And then Krishna gives the essence of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. And so we are now here on the battlefield. So Bhishma is contemplating the fact that I will have to fight Krishna as well. He wanted to see Krishna fight him anyway. He knew he was being protected by the whole army and all these warriors. But he still felt, you know what, I know who that's in front of me. I would like to have a challenge with him. Some way or another. It's like Krishna is like, you know, when you're in a team, like when you have a personal trainer, he'll push you to the limit. You can do this, you can do this, you can do this. And this is what Krishna was doing to Arjuna. He goes, you can do it. You need to do this. Go ahead and do it. You can do it. He's giving them the motivation and the encouragement to do your duty. What is your duty? Like if you're into fitness and training, your personal trainer will say to you, you can do it. He pushes you to the edge, right to the very edge where you think you're going to give up. But he knows what's inside you and how much you're capable of. In a similar way, Krishna was doing the same thing to Arjuna. He's pushing him. Don't worry, you can do this. You have to fight this war. It's your duty to fight this war. And Bhishma could quite clearly see that Arjuna was being edged along by Krishna. And this is what Bhishma wanted. He goes, at least I can get a chance to see Krishna. And maybe even Krishna knew that Bhishma had this vow of dying when he wanted. He is totally immortal. But even though you are immortal, there is still the chance. There is not the chance, but there is the time will come when you have to pass, even if you are immortal. Nothing is immortal in this world apart from Krishna. You should know that, everything. So Bhishma said, well, if I'm going to die, I know I'm going to die, but I want to die with dignity and respect. So why should I have all these people protecting me? But Duryodhana, he knew to save the battle, to save his army, to save his image, to save his ego, he had to get all of the people in the army there to protect Bhishma. The thing is, when we see how Krishna played his role, how it fits into the scene, another very useful verse that comes to my mind is like on, it's from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 3, Text 17. Srila Prabhupada says, unless one is in Krishna consciousness, all his material possessions are zero. But when this zero is by the side of the Supreme One, it at once becomes it at once increases in value to 10. That's the power of Krishna's. Unless situated by the side of the Supreme One, 0 is always 0. One may add 100 zeros, but the value will still remain 0. So the essence there is, you can have everything you want. You could be rich, you could be famous, you could have everything you want. But until you don't put that Supreme One on your side, everything is zilch, it's 0. So when Krishna comes to our side, he's always our side companion. We don't realize it, but if you deeply believe that there is something, Krishna is always there by your side. It's just that you have to develop that faith. And when you have that faith in Krishna, he becomes that Supreme One. And you're 0, you've just become 10. He's that powerful force that guides behind you. And then, when eventually Bhishma did get, when he was shot by the arrows, he waited. He was lying on a bed of arrows. He was eager to see Krishna. He goes, look, even though I'll be fighting against all the wrongs, I've been trying to uphold the kingdom. I've been on the wrong side, I know. But at the end of the day, I was doing what I had to do. It's for the sake of the kingdom. But he goes, Bhishma said, whatever I said, I done was with my wish. Now I wish to do what I want to do in the service of the Lord. So he waited and waited. Because he was immortal, he was lying on a bed of arrows. Still, he hadn't given up his last few breaths, because his last wish and desire was to see the Lord Krishna. And this magnifies the fact that when we have devotees of the Lord, Bhishma praised the fact that Lord Krishna is such that he doesn't leave the side of the devotees, irrespective of where we are, how we are, in any shape, circumstance, time, place, wherever it is. He will come in the form of his devotees. He will be there to protect them. And Arjuna and Bhishma said, at the end of my time, the Lord is in front of me. So the Lord actually did come and to take out Bhishma from his miseries. So we can see, no matter how much in this effort Duryodhana tried to protect Bhishma to win the battle, ultimately as soon as Bhishma was shot with the arrows, everything went downhill. Why? Because even though Bhishma was valiant, so powerful, he was trying to oppose Krishna. And he forgot the fact that when you oppose Krishna, you can't actually win Krishna. He's all powerful, all pervading. He is so powerful that one cannot imagine his strength. When you think of it, as a child, as a 7-year-old child, he lifted Govardhan Hill on his small finger of his left hand for 7 days. Just goes to show how powerful, how strong he is. He stopped Indra when he was doing the rains. Even he gave up. And even Lord Brahma, at one point, when Lord Krishna took all the cowherd boys, even they, what to think of Bhishma, even some of the demigods think how powerful is Lord Krishna. And when Lord Brahma took away all the cowherd boys and the cows, what did Lord Krishna do? He appeared as cowherd boys and girls. And when Lord Brahma saw it, he goes, wow, I don't believe this. He goes, that is the true Lord that we have. And then he knew the position of Lord Krishna. So I think that brings me to the end of what I'm talking today. So just to round it up, Bhishma was the main fighter for Duryodhana. They come to the battle, and he wanted Bhishma to be protected by all the army men and all the people in the army. So just to bolster their courage, their ego, everyone, get them in the fighting mood, he said, like, all of you are guys, every one of you in the army is very important to me. You're here to fight, and you're going to here to protect Bhishma, because we are going to try and win this battle. We're on this battle at Kurukshetra, so we need to win. And with your help and all these millions of people I've got in the army, I'm sure we should be able to win. And that's there. I think that's where I'll conclude now. All right, does anybody have any questions? We've got last 5 minutes remaining. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions? No? Okay. So the curtains will open in literally 5 minutes. That's fine. Taki Jai. Jai. Okay, so Aarti is going to start now at 7 o'clock, and then after Aarti, they will be serving Mahaprasad in, I think, the reception room just outside. So please stay here for Aarti, and don't go home without taking any prasadam. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How is everyone this evening? Awesome. So what we're about to sing now, once the curtains open, is this arti is called the Gaura Arti. It's just above here. You can follow the lyrics along. This is a song dedicated to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is called the Golden Avatar. You can see his pictures here. And he was an incarnation of Lord Krishna and Radha together. He's a very, very beautiful personality, and here we glorify him. So, Hare Krishna.
2 minutes more. Yeah. We're all pink. Really? Yeah, just concentrate. It's also, when I was singing Guru Puja, it's also here, but I was holding. Yeah. Even I know.
Also because he's missing this one. This one. I
Yeah,
see
refrains.
after this,
Yeah.
immediately lots of
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. When we sing, sometimes, we just somewhere else. But maybe, at the end you can do that. When you repeating after the last this one, then you can do this. Not at the beginning.
Not the beginning.
I don't know.
Okay.
For me, it feels like that.
Yeah.
How it's like.
Gokulananda Shri Radhe.
Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha
Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Shri Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Iva Jaya, Jaya Gora Chande, Arati Kosho. Janavita Kabare, Jagamalaloba. Jati Neni Chaita, Pame Gadadara. Nikate Advaita Shri Bhaktacharya. Gosiyate Gorachan, Ratnasinatane. Arati Korena Brahma, Hari Devagane. Narari Hari Kodi Kodi, Chamaradulaya. Sanjaya Mukunda Bhaktu Gosaligaya. Kanke Bhaje Kanta Bhaje, Bhaje Karakara. Madhura Mridanga Bhaje, Bara Sala.
So now I'm gonna say Premadhvani prayers, and when I say Ki, you should say Jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shri Shrimat A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotara Shata Shri Shrimat Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridasa Thakura Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinata Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dama Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavana Dama Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
And now we invite everyone to sit down and we'll sing a prayer for Nrsimhadev. Namaste Narasimhaya. so much for attending the arti. And you guys can go to the reception. There will be lots and lots of prasadam. Hare Krishna.
Are you a family actually? Are you related? No.
We're friends, but everyone calls us sisters. That's fine, because we're similar.
Thank you for the flower. This is the most beautiful thing. I will offer it to my Krishna in my room.
That's kind of you.